All right, guys, natural gas is pushing up right here. Time to sell. Locking in profit. Sold 2,500 shares at 15.45. $639 profit. Keeps pushing up. My goodness. Let's check overall in the day. $639 profit. All positions closed. Let's go ahead and see my entries and my exits just so you guys can see exactly where I bought. So I saw this form of support at 15.30 for natural gas and this resistance at 15.50. So bought, sold, bought, sold, bought, sold, and 639. Not too shabby. Just so you guys can see, all my positions are closed. Took my first order at 8:49 and 30 minutes later sold at 9:20. So 30 minutes of trading, $639 profit. All right, guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed that recap. But to kind of answer the question that we've gotten so often ever since we kind of started our YouTube channel, there's no question that if you've ever watched one of my videos, Ugaz and Dgaz and these natural gas ETFs and ETNs are a huge focus that I have. So to put it super simple, I'm going to explain why I trade them so often and then the idea behind that. So one of the first things that I want you guys to understand is that I've never stated or said that Ugaz and Dgaz are the way to go. That's my focus, and I'll touch on that in just a little bit. But one of the reasons that I find them to be so attractive, yeah, I understand that they're triple leveraged. I day trade. That's my main focus. I don't hold these overnight. I do these daily recap videos every single day, and I really do enjoy it, right? So by being able to focus on one commodity, I'm very micro focused on the series of factors that have a positive and negative influence on that specific commodity, right? We've talked about it before when it comes down to the overall, weekly reports, when it comes down to the overall weather reports as we're approaching, these colder months. And then on top of that, certain news that can have a positive or negative influence on the commodity. So I'm well aware of that. And the more I trade it, the more I become aware of what has both a positive and negative influence. But again, that would be very difficult to do in all areas of the market as there's so many different niches. I really began to niche down on these series of ETFs about 2 years ago. I've had multiple different focuses and different niches within the market. But the thing that I found so attractive about, trading natural gas is I resonated very well with, Ugaz and Dgaz and how I was day trading it. In no way is this to convince you. But on top of that, when natural gas goes up or down, Ugaz and Dgaz follows. Therefore, it's almost like a 50-50 chance of being on the right side or the wrong side of what it is that you are trading. On top of that, you guys have noticed that I have a huge focus on, yes, getting something for a good deal, but the most important part is the overall direction. You guys have seen the past couple of days, I've nonstop just been focused on either if natural gas is ascending and showing signs of an uptrend, I'll focus on Ugaz, right? If natural gas is selling off like we've seen this week, I focus on Dgaz. And it's made it very easy for me to have a slight focus on direction and getting in a good deal. But because I have the understanding of the way that that specific commodity such as natural gas is heading, it makes it easier for me to have just two options, and then I focus on direction, and then I push away the option that is bearish, right? And then I focus on the bullish one, or vice versa. This has made it very simple for me to not care about what other people are trading, not care about, how much someone else is making on another stock. I have my focus, my niche, and I tend to understand it, I think, better than the average person. And because of that, and because how I approach it with day trading and my risk management, it's played out very well for me. Of course, just like pursuing any niche and pursuing any market, there's always going to be rough spots, right? Like you guys saw about 1 month ago, I was having nonstop red days, and I was becoming very inconsistent. And this is something that is not normal if you've ever watched any of my videos. I began to trade with $100,000. I started off doing it very well. I had one of my largest green days, nearly $11,000. I had one of my largest red days, which was $4,200. That one hurt. But at the end of it, I was still being very consistent. I was making thousands and thousands of dollars every single day. I was trading with a lot of money, so I would aim for around 1 to 1.5% daily, and I could hit it pretty quickly because of the dollar amount that I began trading with. Once I saw the market change a little bit, natural gas became a little bit more inconsistent, and because of it began to trade a little bit differently, I began to struggle. I reduced my dollar amount, and what I'm trying to emphasize with this is regardless of how niche down you are, regardless of what business you might have or what focus you might have in any area, you're always going to have to be on edge. You're always going to have to be on your toes, and you're going to either, pivot and adjust to the market or get left behind. And that's exactly what I think that we've been noticing is if you guys have watched any of my videos for the past 4 weeks in comparison to maybe, 2 months ago, I was having, red day, green day, red day, green day, stuff like that, right? Now it's more consistent profits. It's kind of like rare where I have a red day, and if it is, it's not very big, but I'm consistently hitting my daily goal of $500 or like today exceeding it. And yeah, it's not an absurd amount of money, but I think that we can both agree, at least for me, my focus is consistency, and I have nothing but time to continue to scale and make more money. But my main focus and leading by example for our Learn, Plan, Profit and Tech But Solutions team is I want to set a goal and I want to work on hitting it consistently. It's not about trying to maximize profits every single time, but to make sure that hitting the $500 profit becomes almost second nature, and then I can scale from there, right? So if I aim to make $500 profit for a month straight, I want it to become not so easy because it's always a challenge as a day trader, but that I build myself and I wire myself to a certain point that it just becomes a little bit more fluid. So then I can scale from there and I can move up to $750 or $1,000 and continue to move on from there. But that's been my main focus, and I just wanted to share why it is that I had such a focus, or I have such a focus on natural gas. I know that it could be annoying. I know that, if you don't like trading these ETFs or ETNs, you're just like, Ricky, why don't you trade anything else? The easiest answer that I have for that is someone's always going to be opinionated about what it is that you're doing, especially if they're envious of your results, right? There's no question that I've been extremely consistent with what I've been trading. And at the end of the day, right, I'm here to grow my account for myself, not to impress others. And there's been times that, yeah, it is great and it is very lavish to have thousands and thousands of dollar days. But at the end of the day, I want to feel comfortable and confident with what it is that I'm trading. And I feel most comfortable and confident when I trade natural gas and sometimes crude oil. Crude oil has been a little bit crazy the past couple of weeks just due to the news with the trade war. So I've had much more of a focus on natural gas. The whole purpose I'm making this video is I've never cared if anyone traded natural gas, or I've never cared if anyone focused on trading, ETNs or ETFs or anything like that. That's never been my intention. You guys can watch any of my videos. I'm never here to say you should, trade, ETFs or whatever. Like, I feel like people always try to convince you to come to their side. I know that we're all wired in different ways. I know that we all see value in different ways. Therefore, my goal for each and every single one of you, if you're trying to explore and find your niche within the market, ask yourself 3 questions. The first one is, do you agree that, focusing on just one area within the market, a niche, would be much easier for you to stay focused on what's important and ignore all the noise? I feel like for someone that's just getting started, especially if you're on very popular platforms that just love sharing pump and dumps and momentum stocks and suggesting what you should trade, you're all over the place, right? You're kind of just on the hunt for what to trade next. If that works for you, great. For me, it was very overwhelming and I was always on the hunt. With this, I have a selected amount of stocks, ETFs, and commodities that I focus on, and it makes it very easy for me to stay macro focused. So it makes it much more enjoyable for me to understand what I'm focusing on and what to get into or what not to get into. On top of that, since I've obsessed so much about this specific commodity, I've became very well aware and very informed about what series of factors influence with this specific commodity. Therefore, I have a better edge on the market, I think, than the average person. So I think that we can also all agree for the second thing is you want to become well informed on what niche you are trading. So if you're focusing on gold, if you're focusing on tech, or if you're focusing on the overall market, right? You want to be aware of what factors have both a positive and negative catalyst. So once you see certain news, you know how to react. I think it's very overwhelming when you're trading certain areas that you're completely unaware of. For me, it was when I was trading bioscience. I really didn't understand what was going on. Therefore, again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't trade it. I just was uninformed with what was going on. There was a lot of manipulation, a lot of misleading kind of news that was being shared, and I didn't know that was necessarily the case. Therefore, I ended up, taking a couple losses when it came down to exploring to see if that was the niche that I wanted to focus on. We have so many people that focus on, like I said, gold, that focus on the overall market, that focus on cannabis. There's no right or wrong. People are always going to be opinionated. And on top of that, you can trade Forex, you can trade options. There's so many different edges. I mean, I focus on not swing trading anymore because the market's so inconsistent. I focus on only day trading because I know these ETFs and ETNs, especially the triple leverage ones, decay over time. So I don't hold anything overnight. And then on top of that, I try to avoid any huge movements as when certain news is to be announced, such as maybe the weekly natural gas report. I don't hold during the report. I make sure that I wait for the reaction and then I trade the recovery. So again, it's because I just immersed myself within this market. I ignored what everyone else was saying, and I just became so focused on what has both a positive and negative influence on natural gas and how it trades. And even from time to time, of course, I'm always going to have rough patches, as anyone will, as we're human. The message that I wanted to share within this video is to empower you to not be afraid to test new areas within the market, right? So if you want to explore options, I'm sure there's a way with simulation trading or paper trading or with a very small dollar amount that you can see if it's the right fit for you. It's not being told what to do, but it's understanding what it is that you are doing and then what the result is, right? Regardless if it's for a profit or for a loss, if you understand what you're doing, then moving forward, you can learn from it. There's some takeaways and you can scale from there. I think it's very upsetting where people just approach the market. They think because they have money that they can duplicate or copy whoever it is that they are following. At least in my experience, that's just not how it is. I think that we can all agree that nothing worth having should come easy, and it never really does. If you really want to approach this as either a hobby, a profession, or a potential career, you need to put in the work. You need to practice. You need to make sure that you find your niche within the overall market and to not be afraid to practice and explore different areas. I wanted to recap the overall day and also empower you that if you're struggling to find consistency with whatever market that you are testing right now, don't be afraid as time goes on to actually learn, practice, and implement everything that it is that you are learning within your own means. It's not here to prove it to me. It's not here to prove it to other people. If you're actually getting started, you should be trading to learn, not trading to profit. So if you're trying to make it or break it, that's just very aggressive. And in my experience, that's not the most, rewarding or profitable, approach to take. But if you're actually eager to learn more about this market, then approach it to learn. So don't be obsessed about the dollar amount, but be more obsessed about learning new things and testing new areas within the market. So don't be afraid to test out, right? If you've ever wanted to explore penny stocks and you have a simulation trading account, then again, test it out, right? When it comes down to ETFs, test it out. When it comes down to momentum stocks, test it out. Options, test it out. Crypto, Forex, all of those. There's so many different areas where you can truly flourish. It's up to you to dedicate the time, set up the structure and the proper planning and practicing to build your confidence and your overall experience that ultimately can lead to your success. But again, there's not one perfect working system that will work for the masses. It's up to you to become a true problem solver as a day trader. One of my biggest takeaways is I am challenged every single day. So I am put to the test to allow an opportunity to present itself. So it's not about the dollar amount that I'm trading. It's not about, how much money it is that I can make. It's allowing an opportunity to present itself and knowing when to take a trade, when to close it out, and when to lock in profits. And I think that we all do that in different ways. But again, it's to not be afraid to practice. So I really do appreciate you guys' time. Feel free to drop any thoughts or comments down below. For all those that have found success in different areas within the market, I think it would be very interesting to kind of hear you guys out. So if you guys want to drop a comment on what area within the market you are super micro focused on, I'd love to kind of learn more about it and why you found such consistent success with that. Also, don't forget, if you guys haven't joined our free Facebook group, we're the largest Facebook group for those who invest in the stock market. We have over 231,000 members. And again, that's going to be that first link down below. If you guys like what you guys saw here and like our YouTube channel, we'd love to invite you to our Learn, Plan, Profit team. The Learn, Plan, Profit team is the only team that I work with on a closure basis. So if you want access to the A to Z video lesson library, the Discord chat, and the ability to watch me day trade live every single day, click that second link down below, learn a little bit more about the Learn, Plan, Profit group, and see if it's a good fit for you. I really appreciate your guys' time. I hope that I earned your thumbs up. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.